Hi everyone, Jacques the Inspired Piper here again. This is episode 5 of the Inspired Piper. 5 if you're Roman. I know I used that before, but it's the last time I can do it, so there you go. I'm really excited about this episode because this is something I had thought of doing with the channel, and that is interviewing people in the pipe community that I thought would be interesting to talk to. And one of the first ones that came to mind was Michael Curcio of Bishop Pipes. I came across Michael, he says about a year ago, on one of the Facebook groups, the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society. And what Michael does is he takes estate pipes and restores them, refurbishes them, and then sells them online. So he had a couple of pipes at one point that I was interested in that I said, well, you know what? The prices were really, really reasonable. So I said, I'm going to order two and see what it looks like. I ended up getting this beautiful 4-dot Sassieni, which I love. It's got a great big bowl, so if I want a nice long smoke and I really want to pack it, this is great. And I also got this beautiful little Stanwell pipe. It was my first Stanwell, my first Sassieni as well. This is a nice small pipe. This is a much smaller pipe compared to the other one. It's hard to see now, but much smaller bowl. And I love this Stanwell when I don't have time or don't want to have a very long smoke. I will typically take the Stanwell with me when I travel on business. I'll put it in my pipe pouch. Along with one or two other pipes, because I know during the day, if I'm on business, I just have, I can't squeeze in 45 minutes, an hour to go smoke a pipe. So if I just have, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I want to take a break, then this little Stanwell is perfect for that. So like I said, the prices were really reasonable. And what stunned me is the condition of the pipes when I got them. I mean, they looked brand new. They're both estate pipes, but Michael does an amazing job restoring pipes. And so I wanted to learn more about how he got started and a bit more of his story. So I reached out to him and, here's the interview with him. Now, the software I used to record the interview, I made the mistake of not choosing something called gallery view, which would have put the two videos side by side. I left it in what's called active speaker mode. So when I'm speaking, I'm on the video, and when Michael is speaking, then it switches over to him. So, but that's okay. It gives him more screen real estate, if you will, when he's speaking. And I really wanted this to be about his story and all that. So it comes across pretty well. And I hope you like the interview. Here it is. Thanks. All right, everybody, here we are with Michael Curcio of Bishop's Pipes. Now, I got to be transparent with you guys. I don't like Michael, right? Because I spoke in one of my previous videos about this affliction we all, or a lot of us, deal with, right? Pipe acquisition disorder. Michael is one of those guys who preys on us weak folks. So, yeah, right. So I met Michael, as I mentioned in the intro, I met Michael on one of the Facebook groups, the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society, and I bought a couple of pipes from him. I love them, as I mentioned, and some of my favorite smokers. So I wanted to reach out to Michael and find out more about how he got started. So, how did this all start for you, restoring estate pipes?
Jacques, thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be on your YouTube channel. I know it's in infancy, but
Yes.
happy to be your first interviewee. So thank you for the opportunity. Yes, as you mentioned, you bought the pipes for me probably about a year or so ago at this point.
Yeah.
And business for about 16 months now. So still in my company's infancy. But this actually started out as I guess a hobby or kind of like a weekend activity that turned into a business. And I still don't know how it happened, but I'm extremely grateful and appreciative of how it turned into what it is today.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, the backstory. So my wife's grandfather had passed away about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and when we were cleaning out his house, we found two boxes of pipes that were kind of buried in the garage in the back, and we knew he smoked pipes in the 60s and 70s or so. So there's about 100 pipes, and they gave them to me, and I said, hey, I'll take a look through them and see what's there. And at the time, I didn't really smoke a pipe, but I always had some sort of fascination with pipe smoking. So I got the pipes, I looked through them, and I said, I'm going to try to clean some of these up and restore them. And I never did it before, just had a hunch to do it. And it was kind of interesting to see the fruits of your labor, so to speak, and how it was
Right.
able to revive them, right? Take off all the dust and grime, bring them back to life. And I actually started to smoke a few of them. So went through some trials and tribulations. I did a lot of YouTube channel watching to learn how to restore pipes, and read a lot of different things online and whatnot, what all the cleaning materials and sandpaper and micro mesh pads and all the things you need, tricks of the trade to restore pipes. And yeah, so at that point, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a small collection of pipes from the internet. I was at the time looking for some sort of side job, maybe to make a few extra bucks for the family. And I said, you know what? Worst comes to worst, if I can't sell them, like on Facebook or somehow, I can always put them on eBay and probably get my money back. So it's really like a low risk investment. I bought a collection of about 15 pipes for $400.
15?
So it was a pretty decent price. They were used, of course.
How many pipes? Sorry, 15 or 50?
About 15 for $400.
Okay.
Variety of brands, some better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaned them up and I put them on Facebook, and I probably advertised in the Pipe Society group. And sure enough, one of them sold, two of them sold, and then I think I made my way through about half of them. And I said, okay, so this is better than I thought. I'm going to take the money that I made from that 7 or 8 pipes. I'm going to buy some more. and that's basically how it happened. Here we are 16 months later. I have about 1,500 pipes in inventory, and I just keep going and going.
And how many have you sold so far? Have you tallied that?
I haven't tracked the quantity of pipes I've sold, but probably on a monthly basis, 50 to 75.
Okay.
Something in that range.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the questions I had, and you addressed it actually. Like, were you already a pipe smoker, and so this was just like an add-on, or so this turned you into a pipe smoker?
It did. So I've been, I'll say, a full-time pipe smoker now for the last 2 years or so. So since I've been surrounded by them and constantly, doing the restorations and whatnot, it made me, of course, naturally be more curious and get into pipe smoking more seriously myself. I've tried it off and on for a few years, years ago, and found some difficulty in, keeping the pipe lit and learning all the nuances of it. So that it just got frustrating, and I kind of shied away from it. But finally, I could say after many months of learning and studying, and I'm to a point now where I'll say a pro at it, for lack of a better.
What's your wife's take on all this? Both the pipe restoration, but taking up pipe smoking now. Was there any objection or?
I don't do it that often. Maybe 5 bowls a week. It's not. Okay. Yeah, it's not a very. You know what it is? I like to do it outside. I don't like to do it inside the house. That's number one.
Yes.
In the winter, it's too cold. In the summer, it's too hot. So, and again, it's just time is of the essence. I have again a wife, 2 kids. I have a full-time job during the day, so this is kind of a side thing for me, the business. And again, the opportunity to take 45 minutes to smoke a pipe isn't there for me all that often.
Right.
So, but I probably would do it more if I had more time. But
yeah, what have been your? First of all, do you still have any of those? What you said about 100 pipes from your wife's grandfather? Do you still have any of those, or you've sold them all?
We didn't sell those because again, it was from her grandfather, so it was more of like a keepsake and memento. So some of them are not all of them were restorable. There was a lot of gray boughs in there and kind of like drugstore varieties, but some of them were nicer. Actually, in there was a Sassiani 2-dot, which I never heard of before the 4-dot pipe. So I think there was considered a lower end Sassini,
okay.
But I love it. It's great, and I actually smoked that myself. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your favorite pipes? What's your favorite brand?
Dunhills are always nice.
I'm not fortunate enough to own one of those yet, but I would love to get around. I would love to find my birth year pipe, which would be 1965, and I've seen some on eBay, and they're not cheap. Any Dunhill right out the bat is like, they're. So I don't own that yet. I do have the ones the one Stanwell and the one Sassiani I got from you. I got a few Petersons. I enjoy the Petersons. Love the ones I got from you. And, every time you're posting, I'm like, oh, geez, here we go again. But, I think my impression is you're doing better and better. Like you posted some, what are we now, Wednesday? You posted someone like Sunday night, I think you posted a batch, or Monday?
Sunday night, yeah.
And there was a Stanwell in there, an unsmoked Stanwell. And I looked at it and I'm like, my bank account was holding me back. But, and then I think within the hour you posted that a bunch of them were already sold. So more and more as I see you posting, they seem to be going like really fast.
Yeah, so and that's it's I tell you, it's a blessing, and I can't complain that, and I won't complain about it because it's really great. On Facebook, I have about 1,700 likes on my business page. On Instagram, about 1,500 likes, and not everybody on
Nice.
Instagram is on Facebook, and vice versa.
Okay.
So
By the way, there will be a link to your Facebook page in this video under the video,
great.
and I'm not an Instagram guy, but I'm sure they'll find you from there. But
I wasn't either. I only started this on Facebook, and then after 5 or 6 months, I said there's probably an opportunity for Instagram customers who may not be on Facebook. And sure
right,
enough, I do have people who purchase from Instagram that are not on Facebook. So again, it was
interesting.
another avenue for me to find new customers. What were we saying? Yeah. So on Facebook when I post them, and on Instagram, I literally have to commit about 2 to 3 hours of time, because what's going to happen is when I post them, I'll have people start messaging me immediately. They're getting notifications if they follow me on Facebook that I added a post, and then they're asking questions, and then I have 3 or 4 people asking me about the same pipe, and I said, okay, this guy asked first. If he's not interested, you're next, and then so on and
Oh,
so on.
geez.
So
Yeah.
I'm constantly handling messages back to people on Instagram and on Facebook, and then they tend to go quickly because I try to price them right. They're getting a good quality pre-owned pipe that's been fully cleaned and restored, and they're saving a
Right.
lot of money, right, in comparison to buying it new. And a lot of these are pipes you can't buy anymore, right? The brands are the companies are either out of business, or they're brand models that they don't make anymore. So again, to get a decent pipe at a decent price, and it fits a lot of people's budget, they tend to go pretty quickly.
Well, that's like I said in the intro. That's one of the things that why I said, oh, I got to try this. So like your prices are very reasonable. And when I got the pipes, I was like, gee, they look like brand new. Like you do an awesome job restoring the pipes, man.
Thank you.
They look
I
new.
noticed. Thank you very much. I can tell you from when I first started to now, I've seen myself get better naturally, right? The more you do something, the better you get. Some more tools and different products I've purchased over time that have helped with the restorations. And I have a few tools that I have that probably other people don't know about. But again, it's things that I use that really help me do a good job at cleaning them and restoring them. And it's really done wonders. And I do notice the improvement over time.
The secrets of the trade.
Yes, exactly.
Favorite blends or types of blends? What do you like?
Started off with aromatics, probably like everybody else.
Right?
Uh, and we were just talking off air before about the New York City Nat Sherman store, right? I went there about a year and a half ago for the first time. And when I went in, jokingly, I actually bought a pipe, and I said to the guy behind the counter, I'm like, do you have any McClelland left? Figuring that he didn't have any. So he rips out a bag from under the counter, puts it on top. He's like, I actually have some of this left. It's 5100 Red Cake, Virginia. He's like, do you like Virginia? I'm like, I never had it, but I'll try it. It's McClelland. I knew the reputation. Again, being a newer pipe smoker at the time, hadn't tried too many varieties. So I think I bought 2 ounces or whatnot. And I actually walked from the store back to Penn Station in New York City. So it was about a good 20-minute walk. And I smoked a bowl of it, and I fell in love with it. So that opened my eyes up to McClelland, which of course is not around anymore, and
Right.
to Virginia blends. And then I went into vapors, and actually recently started smoking some Latakia blends. So,
Mm-hmm.
but Virginia based are probably my favorite out of all of them.
Totally agree here. I'm just well, when I was doing that book that you were part of, actually,
Yes.
one of the fellows I spoke to was in Denmark, and Lucas, I believe his name was, and he was going on and on about Orlik Golden Sliced. So I finally tried a tin and absolutely fell in love with that. I make sure I always have some on hand. For me, it just screams a nice cup of coffee with that blend. But like you, I went back to it when I really started again smoking regularly about 2 years ago, pipe smoking. Never smoked a cigarette in my life, but aromatics. I love the Four Noggins blends of Hobbit's Weed and Thomas blend. If you've ever tried that, it's like nice vanilla maple. And like I've drifted, like you, I think I've drifted more towards the Virginias, the Vapors, some Latakia, Boswell, Northwoods. I love. But last night went out for a walk with the dog, and I had a bowl of the Thomas blend, that maple one, and I'm walking around going like, what? Every now and then you go back to that aromatic, and it's like dessert. It's like really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
I've been in the mode of I've been buying everything, trying all different blends and brands, and I'm also preparing for tobaccopocalypse,
Yes.
I call it, apocalypse of tobacco.
Backup out. Yeah, right. How would we say that? Yeah.
That's what I've kind of coined every time I mention it. So I have a cellar that I've been accumulating, and so many brands and varieties I haven't even tried yet.
Yeah.
But as I showed you before, I have a lot of mason jars that are kind of have different blends in them, and I spend more time trying to figure out which blend to smoke than actually smoking a pipe half the time. Like, do I want a Virginia? Do I want an aromatic? Which one do I want? So.
Right, right. I know and I believe I'm up here in Canada. So like, I cannot buy tobacco up here. I couldn't smoke the way I do. Um, if I had to buy all my tobacco up here, like just take a tin of Presbyterian mixture, which I love, I'll go online and pay like $12, $13 US.
Right.
Here, that same tin would be probably close to $50 Canadian, which is like insane.
Insane.
Right? So I try to order small batches at a time. Like actually tomorrow, I'm probably going to order a small batch, which about 5, 6 tins, and I've never gotten hit by duty,
Okay.
and so that's reasonable. The other thing I said, like I said in my first intro video, is like I'm fortunate enough that every now and then I get to travel to the U.S. for business. So if I'm there more than 48 hours, I can bring back the equivalent of 7 ounces, 200 grams. So I'll order some, have it shipped to my hotel, and then I can bring it back duty free. So I'm slowly trying to sell her as well, because which leads to there's a lot of talk recently about Facebook banning anything around tobacco and stuff. And I know I saw some of your comments. You were worried about, well, what does that mean to you? I think they're really going after the tobacco stuff. My reaction was, I don't think they'll bother people like you trying to sell pipes. But what do you think of all this nanny state stuff?
It's awful, right? I mean, in my opinion, there's so many other things that they should be trying to police against and go after, as opposed to the pipe or cigar smoker. When the news broke, I think about a week or so ago, that Facebook was going to crack down on tobacco-related groups, and especially those selling those types of items. Of course, I got nervous, because the primary avenue I have for sales is my Facebook page, again, Instagram too. And then actually there is some in the Facebook, I guess, rules that says you're not supposed to sell tobacco related products. And I think they include pipes and accessories as part of that. But again, I don't think they've ever policed it before. What I did was I changed my page to have to be 18 and older to view my page. Hopefully that's going to be something that'll help me there.
Yeah.
And just crossing my fingers that they don't come and shut the page down, or even the Pipe Society group that we belong to. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, like you said, I think when I read it more, they were targeting ads and advertisements, people trying to promote tobacco or those types of related products. I hope that's what's going to happen, and maybe they'll go after them more than the little Facebook groups and businesses that use Facebook to operate. If that does happen, though, I did purchase the domain for my company name, so I do own that. I have not started a website, but again, that'll be always an option I could do at some point in time.
Where does Bishop's pipe come from? Where does the Bishop come from?
Oh man, I know you asked me that question, and I was like, do I lie about the origin of the name, or be honest? So I'll tell you the truth. So in another lifetime ago, I used to be very heavy into rap music, and I actually used to write music myself, just as a hobby. It was kind of like, for me, like poetry was a way to kill time. It was like a little side thing that I enjoyed doing. And every good artist needs a moniker. So I adopted the name the Archbishop. I don't know why. I was 18 years old. It sounded cool. So that's where the name came from. And even after I stopped, with the music thing in my early 20s, I always used that name in some variety, whether it was a screen name or a username of some. I do fantasy baseball and football, and the name Bishop is always in my name. So it's stuck with me all these years. So as for any business that's in operation, you need a business name. And I said, what am I going to name the business? And after tossing a few names back and forth, I said, Bishop's Pipes. And it's like, it seemed to flow, and it had personal resonance to me and meaning.
Yeah.
So I said, that's what I'm going to go with. So I'll answer the questions now. It has no religious reference. and no chess reference either. So
And no
it's
chess reference.
completely off the grid, and that's the backstory to where the name came from.
Well, it somehow fits with the whole pipe thing for some reason, especially as I think of like one of my favorite blends, like I said, is Presbyterian mixture, right? And so you kind of think of where it comes from and you go like, okay, yeah, I can see these old bishops maybe smoking a pipe. I don't know. It makes sense.
I have a funny story I'll share. I have a customer who buys pipes from me every now and then. He pays on PayPal, and his wife recently looked through some of the statements, and she kept seeing charges Bishop's Pipes, because I do accept credit cards too. And on PayPal, it may even say Bishop's Pipes. I'm not sure. And then, without conferring with him, she went ahead and disputed all the transactions. She thought that he was, giving donations to a bishop of a church or something like that. And I get emails from PayPal, $40 charge and dispute, $55 charge and dispute. I contacted him, like, what happened? Is there a problem? He's like, that was my wife. I'm totally sorry. We were able to resolve the matter, but she thought it was some sort of religious scam or something that he was giving money to.
That is funny. That is funny. All right.
Yeah.
So to finish off, top 3 tips that you would give pipe smokers on maintaining their pipes?
All right, good question. I actually wrote these down because I wanted to make sure that I gave some good answers here. So the first one I would have, and this is something I've learned over time, is to smoke slowly,
Yes.
sip, right? Sipping smoke, you get to prevent tongue burn, and I think really get to enjoy the flavor of the tobacco as opposed to puffing like a freight train and really puffing fast. Personal observance that I've determined over time. So that's number 1. Number 2, rotate your pipes. And of course, that means buying more pipes from me. So,
Shameless plug there.
You can't just have one pipe, let's be honest.
No. Well, hence we get into the whole pad issue, right?
Pad is a wonderful thing. So,
it is a wonderful thing, yeah.
So rotating pipe, but I think that's important, right? I actually personally devote some pipes to certain blends. Again, not everybody does that, but I have a vast collection of my own pipes. So I tend to smoke, certain blends or brands in certain pipes. And number 3, I would say estate pipes is really a great way to try a whole bunch of different pipes, shapes, brands. And again, some of the companies that went out of business many decades ago, getting a cleaned, restored estate pipe, maybe for $30 or $40 or so, can be a really good way of trying different pipes and without spending, some of the prices that a lot of the other online retailers charge for new pipes.
Right. And like I've mentioned, it's like your pipes came in, like I thought they were new. I couldn't believe these were estate pipes. They were in such great shape and clean. The stem was spotless. It was just, so for anybody looking, like you say, to try these brands or want to, I will absolutely advocate, do not be afraid to try these estate pipes. Michael does an amazing job and they come in beautifully. So yeah, I'll probably succumb at some point and order some more from you.
I hope so.
Right now, this summer, I've been focusing more on the tobacco side of things and, trying to cellar, as somebody said on one of my comments, cellar wide and cellar deep, like this whole tobacco apocalypse. Oh yeah, that's one of the things, talking about the whole nanny state and Facebook cracking down on tobacco related groups. One of the things I came across just this past week actually was something that's gaining, another social media network that's gaining a bit of traction, and they are saying they will not be sort of cracking down on this kind of thing. They want to give, let people talk about what they want to talk about. Have you heard of this MeWe.com?
I did. So when I heard about Facebook, again, possibly risking losing my page, of course, I was in a scurry to figure out, what do I need to do next? And somebody mentioned MeWe. And I went on there. I created an account, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I did find the Michael Curcio, and I didn't know if it was you. There's nothing in the profile, right? So
that was me, yeah. And I looked through it. It's really just a bare bones Facebook, I think, from what I determined. But I don't know what kind of traction is on there for pipe smokers. Probably not too many people.
Yeah.
But it could be another medium for people to turn to if Facebook, shuts down all of the pages.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much, you look at something, a group like the Gentlemen's Pipe Smoking Society on Facebook, like they're well over 16,000 members now. I just looked for on MeWe just before I called you, and I did find a pipes and cigar smokers or whatever, and I asked to join the group, but it's like 656 people, right? But they're saying, I saw the founder on an interview just yesterday, and they're saying they're getting like 20 to 30,000 people a day joining, and they expect to have 30 million people on there by the end of the year.
I think Facebook, from when it first started, I think it's lost a lot of traction over the years. I think just, from even my own personal page, for the number of friends that I have that used to be active that just aren't active anymore.
Yeah.
So and again, it's all cyclical, right? It's always the next best thing is going to come and take over. And Facebook has had the luxury of being at the top, right, for so long. I think some people are just getting fed up with, the way they've done things and the privacy issues that they've had and
Yeah.
whatnot, and they're looking for alternatives. So maybe MeWe is that. I guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah, I know and it's been a little crazy in the past. I want to say 3-4 months. I know quite a few of my contacts, people that I've been in contact with for many years, friends and old acquaintances, and work related. They are dropping off Facebook, like they're dropping like flies. And when I ask them, like, well, why? And they're going like, I'm really tired of all the privacy stuff, the privacy issues, and so it's pushing a lot of people away. And now if they're going to crack down on what you can and can't do, and then I think it's going to drive even more people away.
I agree. I've actually don't even really use Facebook for personal purposes. Of course, I have a personal page, but it's really all about my business page on there. And the Gentleman's Pipe Society page. I mean, that's where I spend most of my time. So I really don't even use Facebook personally outside of, for business purposes, to be honest with you.
Found another one recently called Pipes and Beards. That's pretty good too. You might want to look at that. You're getting there.
I'm going to have to take a look at it.
Pipes and Beards. And up here in Canada, somebody pointed me to a group called TLOC, which is Tobacco Lovers of Canada, which is kind of cool,
Okay.
smaller group and Canadians.
Okay.
But we're all whining and complaining about the prices of tobacco up here, and so sharing those kinds of stories. But, it's very much the same idea. People are posting the pipes and blends they're smoking, and and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of good camaraderie in these groups, and it's a great community.
Yeah, and also too, what you said before, the YTPC, which you just again recently became a member of, and you're seeing how big it is, and how it's really a very close knit community. Now, I'm on YouTube, but I'm not. I don't make videos. I'm just a lurker and a watcher, and I subscribe, of course, those that I enjoy watching. But yeah, it's a really good community, lots of good content out there, and I've been watching videos on there for many years. So
very cool. Well, hopefully this is going to drive some business your way.
And some subscribers to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will again encourage anybody watching, if you've not looked at Michael's work, if you've hesitated ordering estate pipes, refurbished estate pipes, don't be afraid. Go for it. Well worth it. Great price, great product. Michael, you do a great job.
Thanks, Jock. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your channel.
All right, man. Thank you very much, and wish you luck. With your pipes. And is this going to become a day job?
It very well could at some point. We shall see.
And then maybe one year we'll see you at the Chicago Pipe Show. I haven't been, but I would love to go one day.
I'm going to try to go next year with the table, and I'm actually going to the Richmond, Virginia Corpse Pipe Show in October. I'm going to be there with the table as well.
Okay, very cool.
So making the rounds when I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Father the Flame, the movie?
I have not.
Oh.
I did see that it just came out recently, but I have not watched it.
I don't buy too many movies like on iTunes. This one I bought. I've already watched it twice, and it's a beautiful movie. You'll enjoy it. So.
It's on my list.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jock. Take care.
And you'll probably see some orders coming through at some point.
Hopefully. Thanks.
Good night, man.
Take care.
All right, ciao.